Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be installing a stripe kit from KI Studios, and we're really excited, a little nervous, but we're going to show you step by step. So let's go ahead and get started.
Okay, so we have a kit here from KI Studios, and in great news, they gave us some instructions. So we've got instructions for dry application of vinyl as well as instructions for wet application of vinyl. And with that, there are a few other things that we're going to need. So we have this water bottle, and we're going to put some water and baby shampoo in there. We've got 70% isopropyl alcohol. We have a trimmer, nice little box cutter trimmer, and we also have a squeegee. So it's kind of got like a harder end and a softer end, and it seems like there's some variability in that in terms of different application styles. And of course, microfiber towels. Where would we be without them?
For this type of application, we have to remove the emblem. I was a little reluctant about doing that, but it looks pretty straightforward. So let's go ahead and do it. We have what looks like a little hard rubber protector, and what we need to do is we need to remove this in order for us to get access to the screws of the actual emblem. Not surprised it would be the Germans that over-engineer a little tab, but we got it off. Simply, I guess you have to push this one in and then push that one in and pull it out. It's a pain in the butt. All right, so we got the emblem off and we're ready to install our stripe.
Okay, now that we've removed the emblem, our first step is going to be to actually clean the surface that we want this vinyl to adhere to. So we're using isopropyl alcohol, and we're going to go ahead and clean the hood. Okay, our next step is to actually take the stripes out of the packaging. They did have a nice big notice on here that told us not to unwrap this until we were ready to use it, because we could end up with wrinkling and tunneling if we tried to like re-roll it in between opening and using it. So here we go. And we are doing a cool like two-tone color, so the silver is the main part, and then this black edging goes on the outside, so it's gonna look really neat. So silver is the first color we're gonna be putting on, and their instructions recommend that we use some masking tape to lay it out, attach it to where we want it to be, and get everything all nice and straight before we actually peel off the backing paper. So here we go. Okay, so right now I don't have any tape like holding any parts of it in place. I just put down a few select areas to help me stay lined up as I go. And our next step is to remove the backing paper and gently lay this down. So here we go. I'm starting here because I have such a specific alignment with these holes. And I'm actually going to use this to kind of help me get everything else set up. So I'm just checking both the holes for the emblem as well as my spacing for all of these other areas. And so far we're still lining up with ourselves. I'm going to try to catch this at the end a little bit so I can finagle it. So the way they describe this is that it has some give in its tack, so you're able to kind of reposition a little bit before you start squeegeeing. And that seems to be true so far. Okay, I think we're in a good place. So they do specify start from the center and work your way out. So I'm doing that both longitudinally and latitudinally, I suppose you could say. Okay, so when I first laid this down, it kind of looked like it had like crease marks from each of those places where I paused when I was taking the backing paper off, and I was a little bit panicking. But after going over it like 5 or 6 times, this has smoothed out really nicely. It was kind of like each time I'd come around, I'd be like, oh, there's more bubbles, and I just kept working at them, just gently and slowly, center to the outside edge. Came around and did it on this side and just kind of worked my way up and down a whole bunch of times. And I think it looks really smooth at this point. So I'm excited. And I was using the soft fuzzy side of this as well. And then I'm also trimming just a little bit off the back here because it's more than I want to wrap around. I want to wrap some, but I just took it with this X-Acto. It was really easy. And so now I'm just gonna clean this up a little bit more because I did not do the cleanest cut. There we go. And then I'm gonna wrap that underneath and put the silver on the roof. Okay. We're gonna start off with cleaning it with alcohol again. And for the top, we're gonna go ahead and use some masking tape again to outline our edges. And it has another nice little built-in car aligner for the antenna bubble. So let's get started. Okay, so we have some purple tape lined up to help us keep this thing straight. And we're gonna go ahead and apply it. Again, I'm starting from the part that has specifics to the car, because it's kind of important that this happens correctly. I'm just putting this down very gently. I'm not putting any pressure on it yet because I want to get it aligned appropriately. Okay. Whew, I'm gonna have to redo that there. Okay, see? So this is nice that it comes with mild tack, mild stickiness, because we are able to readdress the placement before anything is concrete. Okay, so this is still loose. You can kind of see the ripples in here. I just spent the past few minutes just kind of finagling it a little, looking at it from the front, looking at it from the back, and making sure it was really where I wanted it, which has been really awesome because I was worried this would like stick and be done. But they meant it when they said you can still move it around a little bit before you apply it all the way. So I think I'm ready to do it. Let's go ahead. Okay, so I've gone over this multiple times until it looks smooth. And now I'm gonna do some trimming on this back part here. Again, I wanna leave a little bit to wrap underneath, but not too much. So I'm just gonna try to cut a straight line. But this cuts very easily. So that's very helpful of it. I don't have to fight it. That's that. And then I'm just trying to kind of keep the same concept of keeping the pressure working toward the edges to try to keep any air bubbles out. And just press it under, and I'm going to get something else to help me press underneath the curve because my fingers can't quite reach there. Okay, so we did the roof, and then I did that strip right behind the roof above the window. And then I came down here and realized there wasn't much to align with right there. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and do this little tiny lip part first and then work my way back up this direction. So based on the photos that we've seen of this particular kit on the KI Studios website, it looks like they come right up and sit on the top of the lip with this. So that is what we are going to do as well. So this is a little bit extra fun. I definitely started back here on the back, and they had this shaped so that you can only really lay it down a certain way because it curves with the curvature of the tail. So I am just working this through, and you can't really go left to right so much. You more have to go kind of forward and backward and follow the curve of the vehicle. And again, just like this farthest back piece, this one is also directional. There's some curvature to the way that it's been cut, so definitely pay attention to that. Okay, we have all of the silver applied. What we're going to do next is take off the purple tape, and then I'm going to use a low heat gun, aka a blow dryer, and that is the next step. They say to apply some of that and just make sure this layer is on all the way. Okay, we've installed the silver, and now we are going to do the black stripes. So those have the wet application instructions. So I've gone ahead and put some water and a couple drops of baby shampoo into the spray bottle, and we're gonna get started. The instructions for this are to remove the backing paper, spray it down really well, and then go ahead and align it, lay it down, and repeat the squeegeeing process. Let's try to make sure this doesn't fold in on itself. I'm just going to do this right here. All right. I think it has been well wetted. We'll be cleaning our floor this way too. And now the alignment. Fun part. And again, it's supposed to be pretty mobile, so we'll just do this gently and fix the details. Okay, I've come to the realization that more water is better. So I've put water here, and I've also put a bunch on the decal that's already on the vehicle. And they did say that, you know, if you needed to apply this one wet to begin with instead of dry, the silver one, you could. So it's not a problem. All right, let's see if this makes it a little easier to slide around. Oh yeah, much better than not having enough water. And this is definitely something that requires a little bit of precision because these black lines just come to the edges of the silver. So you want to have it aligned perfectly. Okay, here we go. Working the water out. Okay, we're to the point where I'm not sure what water's on top and what water still needs to actually be squeegeed. So I'm just going to give this a light rub down. Well, wipe down. It's not really a rub. And then we'll be able to see better so that we can continue doing the appropriate squeegeeing. Okay, now that we've squeegeed out the bubbles, they say to let it sit for 5 minutes and then we're gonna peel the transfer paper off. So we'll give it a couple minutes. Okay, we've given it some time, so we're gonna go ahead and peel this back. And they say to keep it level with the car, so I'm just gonna keep it nice 180-degree type of angle and just take my time. Scoot down. So again, I used a whole bunch of water, added some extra, and then just wiggled this around little bit by little bit until I finally actually covered the silver at every part of the black line. So this is exact, guys. There's not like a overhanging lip of the black. It's exactly a fit. So I think I've got it. So I'm gonna go ahead and start squeegeeing. And I did realize that you can use the harder part of the squeegee on here because it has this piece of plastic that you're gonna peel off at the end, that transparency part. And that does help with getting some of those like tougher bubbles once you've done most of it. So that is useful. And even if you do this and you start to like see a spot where you weren't quite straight, you can kind of come back to it and fix it before you get totally done with all of this squeegeeing. I am happy with how forgiving these vinyls have been. I am certainly no pro, but I have been learning. So like I was saying, you can use this harder edge and get out some of the more stubborn bubbles while you still have the transparent transfer tape on. Okay, we've given it some time to sit, so it's another great unpeeling. Here we go. And I've been doing it to where I kind of take the black vinyl strip first and kind of peel it loose and roll it under at the end here manually so that I can then peel this back. I'm doing both sides. And again, I'm going to do some kind of just touch-up work, and at this point I'm definitely using the soft side of the squeegee and just making sure that all the bubbles are truly taken care of, because you can kind of see them and address them a little bit differently now that that clear transfer tape is gone. Okay, this time, since we already have something to follow, I am comfortable putting this piece on before the little swoop at the back. And again, they did cut this with a little bit of an angle. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's a little bit of a curve here on the top and a little bit of curve here on the bottom, and that matches with the curves at the edges here. All right, let's do it. All right, everybody, we're waiting for this last one to dry a little bit before we peel off the top. And I wanted to say, I think I started off with about 18 ounces of liquid and I'm down to about 6. So I used a fair amount throughout this whole thing. Definitely helped when it was more wet. I think I did like 2, maybe 3 drops of the soap. Might have had 1 more, might have been a good thing. But I think it's time to finish this off. All right, so here we go. We're gonna peel this last one off. Slow and steady. I feel like this one provides some extra challenges because 180 degrees kind of changes the whole time. And that is off, and we will smooth out any remaining bubbles. Okay, so it's done. We still need to put the emblem on and put it out in the sun, but we are going to cut and show you that here in just a second. I just want to say, as someone who has not done this before, I had some trepidation, but once I kind of got going with this first round, it was actually kind of cool. Definitely need some patience, definitely need some time, but it was really neat. So if you're looking to pick one up, we got this one from KI Studios, and it's really great quality. All right, to the walk around.